I'm a student right now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to, I still have a lot of my whole life ahead of me.
yeah,
So, what are the main things I should be focusing on now in order to, achieve my goals, get my dream job, dream career,
yeah,
as a student?
yeah, yeah. So I would also kind of temper this mentality of dream job, right?
Mhm.
Dream job is a tough phrase to aspire to.
Right.
A job is a job, right? And I had somebody the other day say, they were like a data analyst, and she was like, I said, well, what are you looking to do? And she said, what I really want to do is work for a company like Disney because it appears like employees have fun there, and it's more meaningful work. But at the end of the day, it's just a job, man. And whether you work at Amazon or Google or Facebook and you get paid a ton of money, or you don't get paid a ton of money and you work for some company that you like have always dreamed about, there's going to be somebody there that you don't like working with. There's going to be politics that you're going to deal with that you don't like dealing with. And even if you start your entrepreneurial venture that you've, quote, dreamed about, there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off in everything in life, right? So you have to think about it as it is a job. And ideally, I'm trying to maximize the good feelings that I get from the job that I'm going towards. But that also requires a lot of self-discovery. What is the thing? Like if I take that person who just spoke to me and I decouple that idea of dream job and I look deeper into the company and I look deeper into the team and I say, what are the characteristics, not of the dream job, what are the characteristics of a work environment that I want? And most everybody's going to say the same thing. Like, I want a good collaborative environment. I want people that I want a boss who I feel like I can talk to, like you and I are having a conversation. I want to
Right.
feel valued. Like, these are all things that like inherently we just want, right? That's the surface of any job. And I tell people all the time that like, I could be working at a waste management company and it could be the best job in the world. It doesn't have to be a category of job. It doesn't have to be product management or a vein of, program management, right? That field is not going to give me any more satisfaction than waste management. It's the
Right.
people and the culture and the whatever. It could be literally any job. So I think for you, when you think about like what is the dream job or what is the dream scenario, I think the dream scenario for you or anybody, what I like to do is I like to say, um, the dream, not the job, but the dream is to be authentically you. That's the dream. How do you become authentically you? And I think the way you do it is by, and this is just my opinion, but the way you do it is by
Yeah.
by creating content. I firmly believe like you create some posts about like the journey that you're going on. What am I learning? I'm in
Yeah.
Oman right now. Like I'm a UCLA student. Like I'm struggling in this like weird COVID-19 thing, and or here's what I'm learning in this class today. Like show me that journey. Show me that progression. Because what it
Right.
helps you do too is it helps you clarify your own thinking. What
Mhm.
is the dream? What do I love talking about? What do I hate talking about? And as you do that, you start to kind of put your own mental pieces together and say, man, you know what? I love talking about this one topic that has nothing to do with a traditional job path that I've been thinking about in my head. It actually is something over here that I've been wanting to explore for a long time. And that is one of the elements that you should be doubling down and talking about, because over time what happens, and this is what's happened to me, after 4.5, 5 years of talking about something, you become a better speaker, you become more clear in your thinking, you become more clear in your writing. Your funnel of a million different things that you could be interested in becomes more narrow and more narrow and more narrow. And over a 4-year period, you're able to articulate the one thing that you want to do. And you're able to, uh, disrupt this whole paradox of choice that we have. Because the paradox of choice, it's like, I could be anything. I
Yeah.
could do anything. And that's the hard part from a college student. It's like, and it's the same way I felt, Mel. It's like, well, I could be an entrepreneur, or I could get into product management, or I could be in sales, or I could, and then like what industry? And it's like, it's overwhelming, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's a long-winded approach to saying like, start to discover the authenticity. Don't focus on the word dream job. Focus on what is your dream. And the only way to discover
Mhm.
your dream is by creating the content and uncovering who you really want to, what you really want to create.
Right. Yeah, no, that's I've never thought about that as well. And I can clearly see that you've been doing that through your content,
Yeah,
translating your experiences into, engaging and thoughtful content that
yeah,
definitely puts people on the right path. And, just going off of that, I'm over the last month I've been using LinkedIn a lot more.
yeah,
I've been trying to post some of my own content. I'm
yeah.
just starting out.
It's great.
So what advice do you have for, like new content creators in general? Like what should I be focusing on?
Yeah. So what you should be focusing on is where your energy flows. What do you if I have the choice of, do I post about a career path? Do I post about this subject I'm learning, or do I post about this passion that I'm interested over here? Maybe it's a little of everything. But
Right.
the key is to focus on, if I were to sit down with those four buckets, which one, if I had four note cards on the different colors, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, which one would I, you know, say, this is the one,
Right.
instantly. That's the one that you should be doubling down on. And it's not to say that you can't be talking about your career path and some of the things that you want to be doing, but it is just kind of that conscious recognition of, I love this thing more than this thing. That's where
Right.
it starts. I love this more than this. Great. Okay, I'm going to post three things about this and maybe only one of that. And then over time, you're going to go, I don't want to post this at all. Great. You shouldn't,
Hmm.
because the content creation journey is a long journey. It's a long game that you're playing.
Right. Yeah.
And if it's up, if you're creating content on something that fatigues you, then what you're going to wind up with is a brand that is not you. Someone's going to
Right.
meet you and be like, hey man, I see that you post all this stuff. And you're like, dude, I do not want to talk to you about this right now. I want to go home. You don't want that to happen, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I think it's, dude, I think it's like, follow your intuition, um, and try to try try to decouple. I know LinkedIn is interesting because our brand is associated to the company we work for from a LinkedIn perspective. It's not like a personal profile per se. Like there's
Hmm.
a work history page and stuff, and there's a
Right.
job title associated to your title whenever you post something.
Yeah.
But I've also, if you notice on my post, I have taken my current employer and I have removed it from my. I don't say that I work for Amazon at all.
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
have
I
to
do,
actually like click on your profile to see that you
yeah,
work at Amazon.
I
Yeah.
do that. I do that for a reason. I don't want my brand to be. My brand is bigger now than my association to the company I work for,
Hmm.
and I don't need that. I don't need that validation. So I think that, as you create content, like if you go skydiving one day, talk about skydiving. If you have an
Hmm.
awesome conversation with a friend over coffee, what did you talk about? It's literally just
Right.
you, man. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely great to hear. Because I feel like what I've been doing like recently, like I've gotten advice from some other people, and they're like, it's good to focus your posts or your content on like potential careers that you want to enter,
Yeah,
or just to like gain like more engagement from people in those specific paths.
yeah, yeah.
But
And
no,
no, I
it's
and
it's
no, I no, I agree. Okay, so let's take that for a second, right?
uh-huh.
You are about to hit the job market.
Yeah.
So there's a short-term content strategy and a long-term content. So two buckets.
Right.
The short-term content strategy is, how do I gain awareness to the things that I'm learning in school to recruiters? Like, how do I draw them into me? Think of yourself as a social media marketing company of one.
Yeah.
You're going to draw the recruiters into you. You're going to try to narrow down the profession you want. You're going to not just recruiters. You're going to be tagging people in the industry who are thought leaders
Hmm.
into your content.
Yeah.
Or you're going to say, James from Google just wrote this fascinating post on whatever. And
Yeah.
here are 3 things I learned from hashtag or at James, right? And then James goes, dude, this guy constantly is tagging me. Maybe we should have a
Hmm.
conversation. So you're building those strategic relationships in your bucket 1 to get that job.
Right.
Once you've secured that job, great. Now you can start transitioning um, and doubling down on content that's really making you thrive. And if what's really making
Yeah.
you thrive is content for your day job, no problem. That's awesome. Even better, that's great. But if
Hmm.
it's not, continue to explore those things and post those things.